Hello, everybody. Welcome into the cycle, part 3 of the week. I am Ryan Wormeli, joined by Mike Maher. It is our pitching streamers and two-start pitcher competition segment here. Maher, take us through our pitching streamers for the week.
All right, let's get right into it. And I'm going to ask for your help a little bit this week because I didn't fill it all out.
I will decline to help.
See, let's just get that out of the way right at the top. So last week in the YouTube comments, someone called us out and said they I forget exactly what the comment was. I should have pulled it up, but they think that we can't stand each other because of our chemistry on screen.
You keep saying they think this, and I keep saying they're just noting it. They're recognizing it from afar.
So I pushed back on it in the comments. I said this show actually exists because Worm and I wanted to do a show together and pitch this idea for like over a year. So despite how hilarious we are in giving each other a hard time, we are friends, or at least I think we're friends.
I would have done this show with Kelly if she was available, but I was willing to settle for Maher.
Fair enough. I'll let the YouTube comments. I'm being the nice one now, so they can get at you for being the mean one.
Except for the way you express yourself when you're being nice, it still sounds like you're being sarcastic.
I just have like one.
It's why you're such a natural host.
Yes, right. I just have one speed. This is just who I am. I will say last week, I'm pretty sure the reason that the person said that was my fault because like I mentioned Colin Rea and just had like an awkward like toss it back to you and where like you gave me a hard time and I'm pretty sure it was my fault that they thought that, but like so I'll own that one.
No arguments here. I'm not here to disagree with that.
All right, let's get into it. So Monday, I had, and just to remind everyone, we go through streamers day by day to give you kind of a streamer for every day of the week. I'll usually throw a couple extras in there as well if there are options, or if it's just a stay away day, we'll say that too. And we lean heavily on the FantasyPros pitcher streaming tool where you can kind of see, who's available. If you sync your leagues, you can see who's available in your league and, what their matchup is. And, it'll rate it by VBR to see what the best matchups are. So I lean heavily on that and kind of give you names of people who might be available. So Monday I have Ben Brown at the Marlins, and the backup I have is Gunnar Hoglund against the Angels. Again, targeting bad offenses here. So I'll start off with, last week we went heavy against the Marlins. This week starting right back up against the Marlins. Tuesday we'll do Nick Martinez at the Pirates. Nick Martinez hasn't had the best season. I'm still, I don't want to say bullish on him, but I'm still willing to stream him in a matchup like this against the Pirates. And the backup I have is Jameson Taillon at the Marlins. Jameson Taillon still pretty available in a lot of leagues. I actually, I was actually texting with Dan Harris this morning because we keep from the same person in one of our other leagues. We keep getting Jameson Taillon trade offers. And as much as I'm willing to stream him against the Marlins, I'm not willing to trade you Zach Neto for Jameson Taillon. It's not going to happen. Even if you throw in Ronel Blanco, not going to do it. Wednesday, I had.
Do you want to call out who that person is, by the way?
I actually don't know. I only know his team name.
Oh.
So I don't know. That's my first year in the league. I'm still learning everyone.
Okay.
But I actually don't know the person's name. No offense. Tomoyuki Sugano, your boy at the Brewers, is the name I went with on Wednesday, despite the low strikeout numbers. But like you said, been pitching much better lately. Overall numbers are good. So like I said before, willing to stream him. And I have a couple backups on Wednesday. I would probably consider both these names that I like better than Sugano, but I have them at backups because they're more rostered, and so I think they're less likely to be available in your leagues, although I do think they could be available because they're rostered at less than 50%. JP Sears against the Angels, and then AJ Smith-Shawver at the Nationals, I think are two good options. So Wednesday is a pretty good day to stream. Thursday, obviously Thursday is usually a small slate. The name I wrote down was Luis Severino against the Angels. Some other names you could look at: Lucas Giolito against the Orioles, but he's been kind of doing a good Giolito, a bad Giolito situation. I don't necessarily know if I trust starting him against a team like the Orioles that like has not been good, but like definitely has the firepower to put a hurting on you. And other than that, not a whole lot of other options. Like I would say Tyler Anderson, but he's at the Athletics in that ballpark. Not typically a place I want to stream pitchers. And that's probably all I would go with on Thursday. On Friday, Matthew Boyd is a name, but he's at the Reds. He's like 50% rostered on Yahoo, so he might be available. But I don't know. The Reds aren't exactly a high-powered offense, but that is a tough ballpark to pitch in. Tanner Houck, I'm staying away from. I don't care that he has a good matchup against the Orioles, and not risking 11 runs for Tanner Houck again. And then we always seem, even though like Thursday is the small slate, Friday seems to be like a day we struggle with. So like
every week it's Friday. We can't find anybody.
I know. Like there's like Jeffrey Springs, but he's against the Phillies. I'm not doing that. I'm not streaming Springs against the Phillies. Ronel Blanco against the Mariners, if he's available, is like maybe. But it might just be like one of those situations like you've said, like it might just be the kind of day where you stay away. Landon Roop against the Nationals.
We say it every week. Sometimes the best streaming decision is to stream no one.
That's probably where I'm at. Landon Roop against the Nationals is not terrible, but he hasn't been great recently either. Andrew Abbott against the Cubs. I'm not doing that, even if he's available. I'm not targeting the Cubs. They're off on fire.
I do like Abbott, maybe like as a pickup. Not starting this week though. Like if he's available, I do like Abbott.
Agreed. Here's a fun one. Are you willing to, if someone drops Sandy Alcantara, are you willing to stream him this week at the Angels? You doing it?
Yes, I'd be willing.
All right.
Yeah. Is that a Friday or a Saturday?
That's a Saturday. I moved to Saturday.
Okay. Yeah,
Sorry.
I would do that.
Sorry, that's a good point. I jumped. Moving on from Friday to Saturday. Sandy, he's the top name on the pitcher streaming tool of someone who should be available in your league. Is Sandy Alcantara at the Angels. Other than that, Merrill Kelly against the Cardinals. Like I'm fine with that. I don't love it, but I don't hate it. Michael Wacha against the Twins is fine, but you're not going to get a lot of strikeout upside there. Justin Verlander been pitching better against the Nationals. Do you have any interest in Verlander at Nationals?
I don't think so. Sorry, I had to really think about that one.
I was gonna say we had a lot of.
I would say no.
A lot of dead air there, but Mr. Host.
Do you want to convince me otherwise?
No, I just think he's been pitching better, and it's not a terrible matchup.
Yeah.
That's fine. Or should we just keep going with dead air? See how long we can.
I know. I'm waiting for you to move on. Now I'm starting to not like you. What the hell?
Now I kind of want to lean into it. But I know you have to go too, so we got to wrap up.
Yeah, it was very clear that I have a hard out taping this episode.
We got 4 minutes. We're good. The other name is I mentioned it earlier, Brian Bayo. Again in our previous video, Brian Bayo against the Orioles. I don't hate that one. He's looked fine since coming back. Jack Leiter has been better recently. I don't know that I don't really want to stream Jack Leiter. That's the kind of thing where it's like when it's bad, it's really bad. So even though it's the White Sox, I'm probably staying away from that one. What about you, Jack Leiter at the White Sox?
If it was any other opponent, man, I would say probably not, but I'm not opposed to it. Like I'm open to the possibility. I want to ask you this because this is not a streamer, but would you, if you were forced to start one, would you rather start Tanner Houck or Aaron Nola this week?
Aaron Nola.
At Colorado, coming off of 9 earned runs given up in his last game.
It could be Aaron Nola on the moon, and I would still pick Aaron Nola.
I mean, the correct answer is I don't want to start either. I'm just pointing out Nola has been awful this year.
I know. I just think like if you're going like risk assessment there, I think there's similar risk and much more upside with Nola than with Tanner Houck.
All right, let's get to our 2-start pitcher competition. We are currently still waiting to see how this week goes. You have Michael King. I had Hunter Green if he wasn't hurt. He obviously was hurt, so Shane Baz was my backup fill-in. The week before, you clearly won Zach Wheeler in our scoring system, 46.5 points. Kelly's pick for me of Shane Smith, 15.8 points. So that was a predictable blowout there. I appreciate Kelly as always for trying there. The week before, we were waiting to kind of determine what direction we wanted to go with the winner. You put up a poll on X. You did not include quality starts, which I specifically told you to do. And my pitcher had 2 quality starts and yours had 0. And I think that's the only reason that you won the poll on X. Did we do a poll on YouTube also?
More than doubled your results. I don't think the quality starts were doing you any favors there.
Well, okay, first of all, more than double is a ludicrous outcome for this. I mean, the stat lines were essentially the same. Like, my guy had 2 more walks, but also 2 more strikeouts. 1 more inning, 1 more earned run, same number of hits, both got 2 wins. Like, this should have been like 50-50. Can you at least agree that? Like, this was very much a toss-up.
I agree. Should we want to call it a tie?
I would like to do that. I did cede the decision to the audience. So I think in fairness, even though my guy scored more points by our usual scoring system, I think it's ultimately largely like basically a tie. I was open to accepting the results of the poll, so I will accept the results of the poll, even if I think it was a flawed poll. I know. I'm a great I'm a class act is what I am.
66.9% of the people do not lie.
All right. So you've won a couple in a row now. And you're probably going to win this week because I didn't get Hunter Green because of the injury. So I had to go with bringing out a big gun. I'm going with Skubal at St. Louis versus Cleveland. I can't mess around with these saving good players. Like I'm now on a 2-game losing streak. Well, Kelly and I combined are on a 2-game losing streak. So I got to bring out one of the aces. I'm going Skubal this week.
All right, I didn't put a name in the sheet. I figured I would do it live, so I've been looking at the list. Let me make sure I haven't yet to use this pitcher yet. It looks like I have not. So I'm gonna go with Framber Valdez at Tampa Bay and then against the Mariners. That's gonna be my pick for this week.
All right, so Skubal versus Valdez. We'll see how that one goes this week. Hopefully your boy Worm can bounce back here. And let's wrap things up with our weekend excitement. It's rivalry weekend, which I didn't even really remember that was a thing. But, all the kind of local team rivalries, Baltimore, Washington, Subway Series in New York, Chicago, all that stuff. A couple of fun pitching matchups that we get this weekend. Chris Sale versus Garrett Crochet is a very fun one. Paul Skeens versus Christopher Sanchez, who, according to that one ESPN article from a couple weeks ago, is a top 12 ace in baseball. And then I just kind of wrote down, I want to see if Max Meyer can get going again. He was so good early. And it's like, we haven't really talked about him that much. It's been multiple weeks in a row of very much the other direction. His ERA was 2.10 on April 21st. It's now 4.37, just 3 starts later. In those 3 starts, 4 innings, 5 earned runs, 5 innings, 5 earned runs, 6 1/3 innings, 5 earned runs. So he's allowed 5 earned runs in each of the last 3 starts. 2 of those ended up being losses, of course. One of those games, he had 0 strikeouts, the game against the Athletics. It's just been very, very bad the last 3 weeks after a superb start to the season. So can he bounce back here against the Rays?
The Max Meyer thing pretty much coincides with me trading for him. So that's kind of one of those things where it's probably my fault. He has not been good since like the day I traded Christian Walker for him. But I'd still make that trade. I'm still banking on the upside. For me, I'll do 2 things. One, I wrote down not raining because it has rained pretty much every day here for 2 weeks. It's kind of insane how much rain we've been getting. We seem to go down here in Georgia, like I'll go like 2 months without any rain, and then it'll just rain every day for 2 weeks. We had like sod installed in the backyard a few weeks ago. That's now like floating. There's so much water underneath it right now.
Fun.
And the other thing is, before we didn't finish up the pitching streamers for the weekend, so I'll hit those real quick for my weekend excitement to close things out. I mentioned Brian Bayo on Saturday against the Orioles as an option. Jack Leiter, we were going to stay away. Sunday, you said you didn't really want to do Jack Leiter against the White Sox. Can I interest you in a Kamar Walker again, or Kamar Rocker, I should say? I was looking at Walker Buehler. Kamar Rocker against the White Sox.
Equally, like, I guess because it's the White Sox.
Yeah, he's much more volatile. Also, Walker Buehler is back against the Orioles. I probably wouldn't want to go with that one. And then Quinn Priester is projected to start. We'll see if that actually stays true against the Pirates, but probably not messing around with that either. So Sunday doesn't look like a great day either. Though if you did stream Ben Brown on Monday in a weekly league, you would also have Ben Brown on Sunday against the Reds, although it is in Cincinnati, unfortunately.
All right, we will wrap up there because I am up against it on the clock. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in to not just this segment of the cycle, but to hopefully our previous 2 segments as well, on video or on audio. We did some rounding the bases, going through some trending topics, and of course, we did our buys and sells and waiver pickups as well in those episodes. For Maher, and we are friends, to be clear. Even though I haven't seen Mighty Ducks 2, he's still angry at me about that, and so are the comments. But for Maher, I'm Ryan Wormeli. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you again next time.